And we're live. Let's kick off the new live show. It's Ready to Rumble.
Let's get ready to rumble!
Having sex by itself.
The ultimate limit of that is the arms necessary to prevent. Basically, you can own any arm that is necessary to necessary.
They're fucking killing Arnie kids, so you're telling me it isn't real when they had a fucking vote in the goddamn fucking Senate?
You're being replaced, and there's nothing you can do about it. So shut up.
Awesome possum. This is the Ready to Rumble podcast. We are your hosts, Korak the Bard and Dr. Scorpion the Bird. Welcome, everybody. We are live and in person for the first time, and we're experimenting with some technology. So this might be beyond our means. We'll see if we can uncover the Balrog of Moria and take him on in the technological terror that is StreamYard and YouTube. But welcome. As always, I am your favorite bard, Korak the Bard, and joined as always by my steadfast co-host, Dr. Scorpion the Bird. Welcome, Doc, to the live and in-person version of Ready to Rumble.
Thank you, Bard. Thank you. I am Dr. Scorpion the Bird. I am a real doctor. I am not a real bird, and I am here for the nerd shit.
As am I. So what are we doing today, Doc? Do we want to start with something good, or do we want to just dive right in?
I think we do. I think we need something good for today's episode.
Good idea. So tell me something good, Doc.
Okay, something good is Twisted Metal.
Or the video
show. Look, the video game is fun. If you want to harken back to a time where you could count the pixels on your video game while you're playing it, play Twisted Metal. The game itself is no more complex than shoot guns while you drive cars and try and kill the other cars who are shooting guns at you. The TV show, because it doesn't have a storyline to follow as far as the video game goes, has free reign to invent its own story, and it's done a fantastic job of doing so. It's big, stupid, gun shooting, car driving fun. It's so good. It has no right to be as funny and as clever as it actually is. I highly recommend it. There's my good thing for the week, Twisted Metal. How about you, Bud? What's your good thing?
Am I safe in assuming there's explosions as well?
Oh, explosions. There's gunshots. There's a clown driving an ice cream van while his hair is on fire.
Hell yeah.
It's so good. It's just a good bit of fun.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, it's yourself. What's your good thing?
My good thing, as usual, springs forth from a kind of a bittersweet thing. I recently had my 5th heart attack, but that obviously isn't the good thing. The good thing has been the outpouring of support that has arisen as a result of that. A lot of friends and community members and fans have come forward. I'm doing a GoFundMe because I'm still recovering and I need a heart surgery. But the outpouring of support has been amazing, and it's an incredible experience to have people tell you, you know what, I'm really glad you're alive. So that's been wonderful, and knowing that, you know, I'm thought of and cared for by the people that I try to reach out to. The outpouring of love and support has been incredible. So of course I'll put that in the description, my GoFundMe. But yeah, the support has been tremendous. So for everybody listening, thank you for your support. I can't thank you enough. And I will be singing your praises literally soon enough.
Well, like I think I can count myself as one of the people who is glad you're alive. So you can add me to the list. And yeah, you know, it's great that you've got the outlook on life of finding the positive after an event like that. Because 5 heart attacks, that's a couple too many. I think you need a new hobby. I think collecting heart attacks is a bad idea.
Yeah.
As your doctor, you need a new hobby that is not collecting heart attacks.
Fine. I'll give it up. I can quit anytime I want.
Excellent.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll see. But it is like a perfect 5th is a really good musical kind of interval. So I think I've reached my peak here. I don't intend to go for a 6th, but you know, the night is still young. We'll see. Anyway, what are we doing today, Doc? Speaking of dying and death and resurrection and rebirth and all that, it seems to be thematic for what we'll be talking about today.
Indeed it is. And in a statement that is becoming increasingly less applicable to a podcast where we've only done the normal thing for 4 of our 8 episodes so far, we're doing something a little different.
We had a kind of formula, and it's fun to deviate from that all the time.
What are you going to do? Events overtook us. We had to do something different, and then we had to do something different on top of that. Now we're doing something different again. So today's something different comes from a couple of recent high-profile celebrity passings. Within a day of each other, we lost Ozzy Osbourne and we lost Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
Now, quick bit of background for the listeners who may not be familiar with either of those two gentlemen. Ozzy Osbourne was the lead singer of seminal 70s heavy metal band Black Sabbath. Black Sabbath basically invented heavy metal. Their combination of heavy riffs, blues-based riffs, the iconography, the imagery, they scared so many conservative parents and made so many teenagers realize there was something outside of the Christian conservative atmosphere. Yeah, it's very, very tough to overstate their impact on music. A lot of people through history have claims to being progenitors of various forms of music, of various types of music, but it's rare that you can point to a band and say that they are the ones who invented an entire genre. You can do that with Black Sabbath. And yeah, Ozzy Osbourne's vocals very much laid down the blueprint that has been followed by not just heavy metal acts, but by frontmen in general ever since.
It made me weep just for those of you who understand who the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are. I saw a graphic where the little baby turtles were being taught by Splinter, and Splinter was represented by Ozzy and Black Sabbath. And of course, you've got Megadeth and Metallica and all of those. And then the next frame was the grown turtles escorting an old Splinter as he retired and the turtles took over. Makes me weep. No, it's just what an image to combine such pop icons. In a way, it's like, oh yes.
But
Sorry,
look, for those of us who are old, I mean, Black Sabbath was already old when I started really paying attention to music, and so the Metallicas and the Soundgardens of my youth simply wouldn't exist without Black Sabbath. It really is that simple. But it's worth talking about the last couple of weeks of Ozzy Osbourne's life, because 2 weeks prior to his death, Black Sabbath played their final show. The audience was in the tens of thousands. The music was incredible. The lineup for the show was absolutely amazing, an absolute who's who of heavy metal and heavy rock. Ozzy himself played the show sitting down in a large ornate black leather throne. And the reason he did that was because he had been completely medication and drug-free for the preceding 3 or 4 weeks. Ozzy had been battling Parkinson's for years. The effects of the rock and roll lifestyle would certainly taken its toll. And he wanted to play his final show unmedicated, completely sober, absolutely present for what he knew was going to be his last ever live performance.
Yeah.
The footage is out there. I strongly encourage all of our listeners to go and seek it out. Some of those performances from Black Sabbath were absolutely heart-wrenching, tear-inducing. If you're not moved by watching this man in his final show, particularly when he's doing some of the quieter stuff like Mama, I'm Coming Home, this was a man who knew he was coming home fairly soon.
I mean, that's a song that would make me weep under normal circumstances because of just the history I have with his music and that song in particular. But then seeing him perform it, and everyone knows what's going on, just the weight of it could be felt and shared with tens of thousands of people in real time. It was a magical moment that can only be created by somebody like that.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's also worth mentioning that after he died, Black Sabbath donated the entire proceeds from that show, 190 million British pounds, to medical research and to two local children's hospitals. So as his final earthly act, Ozzy Osbourne donated nearly 200 million pounds to medical research and children's hospital.
Yeah.
So he's left behind an incredible legacy that will resonate through the decades.
Absolutely. I mean, if I could be so fortunate as to leave behind something like that for other people just to marvel at, like, oh, he gave that all up. Yeah, because he knew that he can't take it with him, and he did so many things throughout his career. This is a final act. It was just the cherry on the sundae.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, the other death that we're going to talk about occurred roughly a day later.
We're going to take a hard left turn now.
And that was the death of Terry Bollea, better known to professional wrestling fans as Hulk Hogan.
The Hulkster brother.
Yeah, it's him.
So, okay, just real quick before I forget, add another little notch on the belt of terribleness. He died right after Ozzy and stole the fucking headlines, because Ozzy should have run for months with everything that happened. And then the next day, Hulk Hogan had to die and steal the headlines. So that's an extra fuck you. And we'll get into all the fuck yous. There are plenty to go around.
And look, Hulk deserves plenty, that's for sure. So Hulk Hogan was a professional wrestler. He was active for best part of 4 decades. He was an actor. He starred in a bunch of films. They were all terrible.
Mr. Nanny and Suburban Commando.
They were all terrible. Probably his most famous incident was the Bubba the Love Sponge incident. I'm not going to go into too much detail because there's some excellent podcasts about it. There's a Netflix documentary about it.
And for those of you who aren't aware, Doc and I hang out on Twitter sometimes. So any of my recorded spaces, you can listen to a very, very detailed analysis of what we're about to get into with Bubba the Love Sponge and Hulk Hogan. So if you want any of that, do a deep dive on my Twitter space, because, there are no details that Doc does not know and is willing to share.
Oh, look, and just for the sake of background right now, very briefly, there used to be a there used to be a celebrity gossip website called Gawker. Gawker outed petty billionaire Peter Thiel as being gay. Peter Thiel is gay, so Peter Thiel legally couldn't do anything about that, with truth being an absolute defense against defamation. So Peter Thiel bided his time until he could take down Gawker another way, and the way he did it was using Hulk Hogan having sex with Florida DJ Bubba the Love Sponge's wife in what I can only describe as the world's least erotic sex tape, when the guy on the receiving end of oral favors is paying more attention to the curtains around the 4-poster bed than he is to the oral favors. You're in for a terrible time.
Dustin Diamond, Screech from Saved by the Bell, was more into his sex tape. Tom Sizemore had a better sex tape. Tom Sizemore. You remember Tom Sizemore? He's been dead a while, but yeah, his sex tape was better. Anyway.
The sex tape is worth mentioning because of the racist rant that he went on at the end of the sex tape, with multiple uses of the hard R N-word.
Yeah. Which doesn't necessarily mean you're racist if you can't get your rocks off without throwing a bunch of slurs out there. I mean, we've all been there, right?
I would agree with that sentiment were it not for the fact that there were multiple other racist tirades that Hulk Hogan went on camera with multiple uses of the hard R N word.
That's fair. That's fair. If it was just that one instance where like there's something about that. That's a kink.
Yeah,
But
that's
then there's all the other shit.
That's it. We don't kink shame here on Ready to Rumble. We kink and choir, but we don't kink shame. And if that's your kink, okay, I'm not happy about it. I am going to judge you for it. But we're not talking about just a kink here. We're talking about a very definite opinion on people who are of the non-white variety.
Yes, there is a pattern of behavior there where it's like, no, you're just a piece of shit racist. There's really no other excuse for it.
Mm-hmm. So,
and it's at times like this. I remember Jack Nicholson's Joker, where he murders a guy, and he's just like, "I'm glad you're dead." No remorse. Yeah, it's fine. I wouldn't wish him harm. I wouldn't have done anything personally, but good. He's gone. I don't care.
And look, and I, in the interest of fairness, in the interest of balance, I really would find something about Hulk Hogan to lionize in a similar way that I have lionized Ozzy Osbourne, but I can't. There really is nothing better to say about Hulk Hogan.
I have one thing that I can add from personal experience, and this was when I was a kid.
Okay.
And I was really into Hulk Hogan. He was my hero. When he body slammed Andre the Giant, that was like the pinnacle. That's a core memory, that I have as a child.
Yeah, we're roughly the same vintage. I recall that incident too. Yeah.
So later on, you may recall, I think it was Earthquake who nearly choked him to death in the ring. And they were like, "Oh, he's crushing his windpipe. Oh, I don't know how he's going to recover." And then there was a whole storyline about Hulk Hogan going into the hospital and not being able to wrestle again. Will he be able to wrestle again? I wrote him fan mail, and he wrote me back. He sent me a postcard. I don't know if it was him or his people, but somebody in his organization took the time to say, "Here's an 8-year-old who really likes you. Here's some merch. Here's a signed thing from Hulk." Like, I had that on my corkboard until I left for college, So Hulk Hogan was a childhood hero of mine, and he actually wrote back to me. So it's funny when I get in these discussions with people who are still lionizing him. I'm like, he did that thing when I was a kid. He was my hero. And then I learned about who he was as a person and realized what wrestling was in all of its choreographed glory, which is fine, but it's not my bag anymore. And especially if you're a roided out racist with a history of terrible things, you're not my hero anymore just because you sent me a postcard when I was a kid.
Yeah. I didn't receive a postcard from Hulk Hogan myself, but yeah, no. And I think that's fair. Many of us, again, of a certain vintage, had to reconcile exactly that. That the Hulk Hogan of my youth was the take your vitamins, say your prayers, and obey the rules kind of variety. And that's an easy thing to believe when you have the brain of a 10 to 12-year-old child.
And the monster guy's telling you there's 24-inch pythons. I take
largest arms in the world.
And I'm a real American. Is there any more patriotic? Fuck yeah, this is the guy.
But coming from New Zealand as well, real American, we followed America. America was the global leader. America was culture. America was freedom. America was hamburgers and fast car and rock and roll music. Incidentally, Hulk Hogan is one of the worst guitar players you're ever going to hear. Don't, just don't, okay?
Please don't.
Yeah.
We are professionals. We've heard this. Don't go down that.
Consign it to the same pile as Steven Seagal and Lil Wayne. Okay, just don't.
There you go.
But culturally, that was a message that resonated all the way down to the bottom of the world. You too could get your 24-inch pythons, your largest arms in the world, because what are you going to do when they rumble onto you?
Right. And that's the other thing. It was the perfect time because that was the era of G.I. Joe and Transformers, where it was like good always wins. We will stand and fight. And here we had a living personification of Optimus Prime and G.I. Joe, just fucking, I will take on the evil doers. Just, yeah.
100%. You know, and when you were in that sort of what was for, you know, again, a 10-ish year old boy, a very black and white world where you had American good guys and you had Russian bad guys and you had
the Bolsheviks.
Yeah. You know, and you had, you know, your cartoons like the G.I. Joes that were great, fine, no problem. But you understood that cartoons were cartoons. You understood that somebody had drawn these pictures and this had been animated and that's fine. But here was a real guy. Here was a real guy. Who was doing real things. And even when I came into the understanding, you know, because my father was a wrestler. He wrestled as an amateur through his school years. And he sort of became peripherally involved in the very, very low level semi-professional wrestling in New Zealand. Don't
really? Okay.
He didn't do it. It wasn't
factoid.
Well, yeah, it was just because of his wrestling as a young man, you know, people he knew and blah blah blah. So my point is that he knew exactly how the wrestling was done.
Right.
And so he explained to my brothers and me as we tried to actively murder each other out in the backyard, don't do this, you will murder each other, because here's how it's actually done.
A suplex will kill a man.
Yes. Yeah. He had to explain to us how bones work and what happens to necks. You know, why you can't literally wrap your arms around somebody's neck and throw them without something very bad happening.
Right.
You know, so even coming in to understand that, you still, you know, as a young teenager, I still understood that this was a person who still was very physically present. You know, this was still a very, very physical thing to do, even though it was acting, even though he was doing things with the assistance of the person he was fighting against. Again, Steven Seagal.
Well, yeah, even though that's the thing, it was choreographed. It was planned that Hulk Hogan would pick up Andre the Giant and body slam him. But then Hulk Hogan picked up Andre the Giant and body slammed him.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, even though he was doing it with the assistance of Andre the Giant, and you know, you can see the footage and you can see how Andre's supporting his own weight as much as possible, and that's fine. But he still did it. He still did it, man.
Yeah, and the world shook with that.
And so I guess this is the thing, you know, before we move on to the videos, I guess it is worth mentioning, you know, that for as terrible as a person as he ended up being, for a young boy of that sort of age, he was culturally very significant, even before you understood phrases like culturally significant.
Sure.
And so his death does represent, it very much represents an ending to that phase of my childhood.
Yeah.
You know, it represents a bookend on that phase of my childhood that did have, you know, its ups and its downs as you know, as he went from someone who you admired to watching his movies that even as a young man, I knew those movies were awful, to what we later found out about, you know, his being a racist, and then his recent support of Donald Trump and speaking at the RNC and failing to rip through his T-shirt, you know. So it's it's genuinely been an emotional roller coaster, you know.
Well, for me, it was once I saw like Hogan sold out and did the reality TV show Hogan Knows Best or whatever, and there was the creepy shit with his daughter, and that was around the time that I learned of the really racist stuff. And I was like, I closed the chapter. I was like, okay, that sucks, that a childhood hero, but look at the wrestling world. You got, especially back then, a bunch of roided out monsters, and God knows what their personalities were like behind the scenes. And then learning that those people weren't always very nice. Well, duh, you know, Santa Claus also doesn't exist. So I didn't think about it that much. And then when he died, I also didn't think about it that much because Ozzy had just died, but then it was the right-wing response to it, and the Hulkamania lives forever. I was like, so you're backing just the worst people in the world out of spite. Like, you think it's going to hurt my feelings when I haven't thought about this guy in over 20 years. Are you serious?
Yeah. Well, and to bring it back to the other subject of today's show, of course, Ozzy Osbourne had his own reality TV show that was vastly superior to Hulk Hogan's reality TV show.
Well, even though like half of it was just fucking Sharon, that was more production value than what you got out of Hogan Knows Best.
Look, that footage of Ozzy trying to work out his TV remote remains a cultural icon.
Fucking he's fucking what the fucking. He's a bunch of fucking bullocks. It's just, dude, I can watch that on repeat all day.
Yeah, so hilarious stuff. So those are our subject for the day. Are you ready for some clips?
Yes, let's. We are live, so I need to initiate consent, assuming that we have it.
Consent
as
is
well
important.
as it's. Yeah, always informed and enthusiastic consent is what I go for.
Indeed. So let's just.
This is riveting podcast dead air currently.
It is because I now have to copy some links into my browser because.
Shall I? Or
Sure.
do you need? Oh, okay. Yeah. So while the good doctor is doing that. These are the bits we'd normally edit out in post, but as we are live, This is the magic. You get to see how the sausage is made. Oh, it looks like, are you still searching? Did you find the thing?
So, listeners, it's worth mentioning that besides being full of terrible people, the Rumble website is itself terrible.
Right, Rumble. That's right. That's what we're doing here. Continue.
The video player is bad. Queuing up your tabs is annoying. So if we just if we could just give me a small amount of grace while I wrestle with this awful piece of technology.
No, it's all good. This would be like if we're trying to show a clip from Twitter and Twitter just crashes because that's what the fuck it does. Thanks, Elon.
Yeah.
So,
but at least those little ads give our audience a taste of.
do you understand what we have to go through on the daily to get the footage that you receive? Yeah.
Okay, so you can see my screen, okay?
Yes. Can you play it real quick to make sure that I can hear it?
So let me play this.
That
perfect.
He was never a big fan, but he was
okay. So go ahead and pause it. I just want to make sure I could hear it. So yeah, what abomination are we about to witness? Because you told me this is like the evil Dan Rather, and I was like, the Crypt Keeper is falling on hard times. Look at this dude. What does this motherfucker have to say?
So, yeah, the gentleman on the right, the Lich from Baldur's Gate 3, his name is Victor Davis Hansen. Now,
his name is Victor. Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah. Now,
Victor Davis Hansen.
He is a scholar of the classics. He is an academic. He currently holds positions with the Hoover Institute and with Hillsdale College. Now, if I can just switch here for a second, you've still got my tab open and you can still see that okay? Because I can't see what I'm streaming right now.
No, I still see just the paused video. You can't.
Excellent.
Okay, good. Yeah, we'll only see this unless you choose something else.
No, that's okay because, yeah, listeners, I use notes. So the Hoover Institute, the Hoover Institute is one of those right-wing think tanky type things whose entire purpose is to push right-wing agendas.
Like the Heritage Foundation, that kind of thing.
Very similar to, yes. It likes to think it's a bit more academic than the Heritage Foundation, but essentially it's the same type of conservative right-wing ideas hiding behind a thin veneer of economic liberty, personal liberty, limited government, etc. There's not very much good to say. In fact, I would say there's not anything good to say about the Hoover Institute. All you need to know is that it's backed by rich people to push the agenda of rich people.
Awesome.
The current director is Condoleezza Rice.
Oh God, really?
Yep. That should tell you basically everything you need to know. It is actually affiliated with Stanford.
Okay.
But yeah, they've opposed things like climate action. Yeah, it's just, and it's all funded from the types of so-and-so foundations that come from extremely rich people who have money enough to set up something called the so-and-so foundation. So that's
real quick fun fact. Did you know that? All right, you recognize, of course, the Exxon Valdez, the name of that ship.
Of course.
There is, and this is real, an Exxon Condoleezza Rice.
Oh my God.
Tanker full of oil called the Condoleezza. It exists. It's a thing. And I'm always checking the headlines to see if the Condoleezza Rice spilled something into the ocean.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So, okay, let's see what the Crypt Keeper version of Dan Rather has to say.
Well, before we do, I'm just going to tell you as well that he's also affiliated with Hillsdale College. Now, if you listen to too many atheist podcasts like me, you'll know that name will be familiar to you.
Hillsdale, okay.
All you need to know about Hillsdale College for all this thing to make sense is that the current director of Hillsdale College has been, I'll say, taken to task, but only lightly, because people in those sorts of positions don't get taken to task very hard, for saying comments like, "We didn't have enough dark ones," I guess is what they mean, after being criticised for not accepting enough minorities into Hillsdale College.
This is why I like the live part, because I can do this shit on camera and just be like, "Do you see how hard I'm just face palming?" Go.
The great thing is that he then clarified his comments after he was
please.
Well, after he was criticised for calling minorities dark ones, he explained that he was simply referring to dark faces.
Oh, well, shit! I was so wrong then about my insistence of that. That's not racist if we're just talking about faces.
Yeah. So I don't want to get too sidetracked, because both Hillsdale College and the Hoover Institute are worth episodes on their own.
Well, hell, we're onto a chapter where I thought we were just doing 100% Ozzy tribute, but we've moved way the fuck past that. So great.
There is no A to B here. You should know that by now. We're never going to go in a straight line from A to B. Come on, man.
It's fine.
But anyway, all right. So let's hear Victor Davis. Oh, by the way, we can see his co-host there. I do not know her name, and more than that, I cannot find her name.
She's just a person to push back against him, to lob him softballs or something?
She lobs them up, he smacks them down. He's an intensely boring person to listen to, as you'll see their dynamic in just a minute. But I'm spending time on his Rumble channel, spending time on his website. I don't know her name. It doesn't come up at the start of the show. She does not introduce herself. She spends she
just
spends
jumps
time
right in.
introducing him. Yeah,
Wow,
but she does not.
we have regular listeners and we still introduce ourselves. Jesus. So I'm going to call her Teresa just for. We're looking at Teresa and Victor. We know Victor.
Yep.
Fucking Victor. Jesus. Okay.
Victor and the woman doing all the emotional labor. All right. So let's roll the clip.
The rock world, and Ozzy Osbourne died at the age of 76. I was wondering if you
Can you pause it real quick? I'm going to make a prediction. I guarantee by the end of this clip, I'm going to say, you keep Ozzy's name out of your fucking mouth. I'm already pissed. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
He had Parkinson's disease. He actually gave a concert right before he died in a wheelchair. I had weird eclectic music taste, but they didn't extend to hard, you know what I mean? Hard metal. So I never really listened to it. If you asked me to name one Black Sabbath song, I could not. If you asked me to name one Kiss song, I could not.
Yeah.
What the fuck does Kiss? We went from Black Sabbath to Kiss?
You get the feel for his general tenor and tone.
Okay.
And the least surprising thing I've learned about this guy is that he doesn't like music. He doesn't like good music. He doesn't like heavy music. Like this is
I'm still stuck on wheelchair. He performed in a wheelchair? Are you shitting me? It was a fucking throne after while he had Parkinson's. Yeah, that's a big deal. And going off your meds to perform, even from just the lack of understanding. Oh, I'm already pissed.
It was a goddamn throne as befits the Prince of Darkness. Yeah. Anyway, I'm actually going to set I can set this to go a wee bit quicker if you want, because this guy is so long-winded and boring. I really don't know.
Well, now I know what it's like for you to listen to me talking to Teddy Daniels. Like that was 4 seconds of just pure. All right, okay, let's see how long I can last with this next clip. Time me.
I'm kind of like Inagata Davida. I remember that, which I thought was kind of hard metal. That's about as far as I remember. But he apparently he grew up in Manchester, so he was known as being very affable and kind to people, and he never forgot that he had a Manchester accent, that he was a product of the lower middle class in England, and that after I can't find anybody that would say anything negative about him, although he admitted himself.
So he was a nice guy. You're using words when 10 would do.
Aaron Osborne, who became a reality TV superstar, I suppose, and everybody was scared of because she was so protective of him, and she'd scream and yell at people.
Yeah, so he was a nice guy. He did muck around on his wife, but yeah, Sharon was an absolute force of nature who terrorized the studios.
I mean, Leonardo da Vinci, I mean, he was a good painter. I think he was born, I don't know, right outside of town. He grew up in a small place, but he had some sketches that were, he also painted some things. He drew it like what they call a tank, and that was kind of interesting.
This is, look, we will go deeper into Victor's output one day, because it's kind of interesting. I am kind of fascinated by this guy, but in the interest of expediting things, I'm just going to keep rolling this clip for a bit, because there is a very good point I want to get to.
They all liked him, and he had a long life. He, 75 years old with Parkinson's. There are videos online where he says he took massive amounts of marijuana, cocaine, and harder drugs.
Oh no! Yeah, he was the rock and roll superstar.
About all of this
Jesus.
Maybe it's because I have this mastocytosis immune, but if I were to snort, I've never snorted cocaine, but if I were to snort, I think cocaine, I would be out of it you know what I mean? Or if I
no, you wouldn't be out of it. You'd be in the game, motherfucker. You've obviously never had it, because Jesus.
That people who smoke 2 or 3 packs of cigarettes would be too. But then I have people in my immediate family.
Cigarettes? Friends. Holy shit! We went from coke to cigarettes.
Or not necessarily my
What's
family.
Next, heroin?
My family. I have siblings that are smokers.
Now, I'm always always skeptical of people who are telling me how clean their lifestyle is and how few drugs they do.
Yeah.
This guy's got some secrets. But anyway,
I just don't know how they can I guess I'm getting back to Hunter Biden.
I'll just
Hunter Biden
as background. As background, they have been talking about Hunter Biden earlier in the episode.
Well, of course, you can't be a Republican shitheel without talking about Hunter Biden. But we started on Ozzy Osbourne. Fuck. God.
He had one point, and that is, how is he even alive, given all the crack cocaine he used? How is Willie Nelson alive at 94? All that marijuana he used?
But
We hear every day how dangerous it is.
Biden to Willie Nelson. And Willie Nelson, yeah. But do you understand the difference between weed and coke, you dumb motherfucker?
He absolutely does not.
I would like one drug, please. I'll have an order of drugs.
Yep. Yeah, that was the point I wanted to get to specifically with him. Is this guy is very much from the drugs are bad MK mindset, and you know he has almost got it. He's so close to getting it. All right. But like so many right wingers, when they get close to getting it, they just veer off in completely the wrong direction.
Left turn. Yeah.
It's just like the people who say, well, if we set the federal minimum wage here, then that means that the guy who's flipping burgers for a living is going to be earning this much, and that's only this much below what a teacher makes. And so do you think it's fair that a teacher and a burger flipper are making the same amount of money?
Right. And you're just a half a step away close, from man. Maybe teachers should make more than burger flippers.
No, but then they veer off in completely the wrong direction and say, no, people who flip burgers should be trapped in poverty wages and not be able to pay their bills and rent and things, apparently.
Exactly the same response to Gavin Newsom. You shouldn't be saying terrible things and making up obvious lies and stories and using AI to make you look like a big chest-bursting, Hulk Hogan motherfucker and saying Donald Trump is a shitheel. You shouldn't do the things that Donald Trump is doing. You're so close. So if you don't like the way people are behaving when they act like Donald Trump,
if it's bad with
the things that Donald Trump is doing.
If it's bad when Gavin Newsom is doing it, and Gavin Newsom is doing the things that Donald Trump does, come on, Maggot, come with me, you're almost there. Come on.
It's like the donkey on the fucking diving board. You're just
Yep. And so the diving board that this donkey is on in reference to the death of Ozzy Osbourne is drugs. And he is so close to getting that, that the danger of drugs has been overblown by the decades-long war on drugs, because again, we're of the same vintage. We got the same PSA messages. I was told growing up that all it took was one marijuana to turn me into a serial-killing mass rapist.
And this used to be eggs. This is my brain. This is my brain on drugs. Yep. And again, just the fact that he brought up in the stupidest way possible Ozzy's age. Yes, a man with a lifetime full of drug use and fast living and rock and roll and parties and cocaine lived to be the ripe old age of 70 plus. Okay, so right there. Sorry, you missed the boat.
I mean, but this is the thing. See, in my mind, there are three things in that little clip. One is the overblown dangers of actually doing drugs. Yeah. Two is that it is the illegality of drugs that amplifies those dangers. Because I'm not trying to say that drugs are not dangerous. Overuse of substances is going to have negative consequences. But the risks of those drugs are massively, massively increased when the drug trade is illegal. And the third point is that the risks to your health from drugs are inversely proportional to your income. That if you are a rich person, you can be a heroin addict for huge chunks of your life, hello RFK, and still live on into your 70s. If you are not a rich person, Heroin addiction will destroy your life within a few years.
Right.
Because it's not about the drug, it's about the economics of the drug.
Yeah.
And the economics of the drug are so heavily influenced by our insane war on drugs that this is the situation you find yourself in. If I was to pick up my cocaine habit tomorrow, I would be on the street by the end of the year.
Right.
But if I was somebody with the resources of a Hunter Biden, let's say, since his name's come into conversation, or if I had the resources of a Donald Trump Jr., let's say,
right, and that's the thing.
My cocaine habit would not be a problem.
And I don't see anybody on the left denying that. Hey, yeah, I saw Hunter Biden snort coke. Like he's the fuck up son of the Biden family. I get that. But he has the resources to support it. So cocaine didn't destroy his life. It destroyed his reputation in right-wing circles because nobody on the left gives a shit that he, whatever. Funny how they don't talk about Beau Biden, who died honorably serving our country. But that's a whole other rabbit hole. But like you were saying, he had the apparatus around him. So his drug habit wasn't devastating to his life and he's not destitute on the street. Whereas the economics of it suggests, anybody who doesn't have those resources gets fucked. And a lot of that is tied into the illegality of it and the non-accessibility of it and, the lack of resources for rehab. Like there's a whole apparatus missing that forces anybody who's not wealthy, into the cracks.
One final point I'll say on this too, and this is almost but not quite a point in Victor's credit, is that he at least doesn't tie drug use to a moral failing.
Okay, well, that's new.
But again, that's not really to Victor's credit. That just represents a pivot that the right wing has made about drugs in general. Having said that, of course, the aforementioned Hunter Biden, they very definitely want to tie his drug use to a moral failing, but Victor doesn't do that. I don't think there's a huge difference philosophically between Victor's approach to Ozzy Osbourne's drug use coming from it's so dangerous for your health and coming from it's morally bad standpoint. They're still stupid right-wing talking points.
Yeah.
By the way, one minor detail I forgot to include about Victor Davis Hanson. The name of his website, and I'd love to play a guessing game with you, but you'll never get it. His website is called The Blade of Perseus.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah.
So,
that would have taken all night.
Yeah. So if you want to know just how firmly this guy has his hand wrapped around his own dick, it's that he called his website Blade of Perseus.
Wow.
Perseus, of course, is the slayer of Medusa, which, I mean, I'm sure there's a lesson there as well that, he named his website after the guy who killed one of the most maligned and possibly most justified of the female characters in Greek mythology. Hashtag Medusa did nothing wrong.
I'm gonna guess divorced.
I don't know.
Okay.
I didn't spend any time at all looking at his personal life because I frankly don't care. He's
all right.
Yeah, he's the type of right-wing academic whose personal life is utterly irrelevant. His entire purpose is to lend academic legitimacy to the predetermined talking points. He could literally be anybody. He is.
What? I'm just curious. What's his full name again? I know it's Victor. What was the rest?
Victor Davis Hanson. And he gets introduced on the show as Victor Davis Hanson.
I need to know if he's divorced. And so I'm going to look it up. You do what you're doing. I need to know.
All right. We're just going to roll this clip for just a few more seconds before we flip over to...
I don't know whether some of these drugs or palliative for people who
pause. You need to pause it because thank you, Wikipedia. He got married. They had 3 children. The couple divorced in 2005. Fucking called that shit. Pick up the phone.
Oh, shit.
Whew.
Oh, no.
Called it.
Yeah,
yes,
well
let's hear more from the divorcee.
Points to you. All right. So again, just for completeness' sake, we're just going to give Victor a few more seconds.
Obsessive compulsive personalities, and they serve the same function as antidepressants or anti-anxiety drugs. But sometimes it's very strange to see people who've used drugs their entire life, and they all have people who never drank, never smoked, never used drugs.
Well, on that,
I mean, gotta get 5 seconds. But that's the point. The people who've used drugs their entire lives, they outlive the people who don't. And he just completely misses the point about the overstated dangers of using drugs as drugs.
Right.
As opposed to the dangers of using drugs as illegal substances that you have to pay some shady dude who's cut it with fucking bleach powder or whatever.
Exactly. Like
that's the point that he's missing, and that's the point that he just refuses to see.
The lack of self-awareness here is frightening, and there's so many directions I could take this in, but I don't want to interrupt your flow. If you've got more clips of the good Victor to show us.
I do. And this clip, I'm going to close this one, and I'm going to open up his... nope, not that one. Oh, God.
Do we need another musical interlude?
Where are we? Oh, there he is. Nope, not that one. Okay. All right. So now let's look at Victor's response to the death of Hulk Hogan.
All right. Oh God, I've been drinking and smoking throughout this, so this has been an emotional roller coaster for me. We started at the Shire with Ozzy Osbourne, and now it's like I see Mordor. I'm like, I didn't even sign up for this shit. I don't know. Okay, I remember now back when you said, yeah, Hulk Hogan, and now, okay. So I'm going to make a prediction. If you could call his interpretation of Ozzy's passing as lukewarm, I'm going to suggest the temperature is a little bit warmer for Terry Hogan.
Okay. Good prediction. Yeah, what's worth pointing out is the attempt at this sort of dispassionate academic, emotionally disconnected tone that he tried to take. This sort of slightly superior, above it all tone that he took with Ozzy Osbourne. Right. Let's just keep that in mind as we roll this clip. Now, I'm not sure what Rumble's going to do to me when I press the go button, but let's find out.
2 unskippable ads.
Motherfucker.
Here's the first one. Here we go. Is it dick pills? It's not dick pills. Oh, yeah. Okay.
This strange new device could produce.
Oh, this one. This is the perpetual energy one. I've seen this one. Yeah, did you know with 2 rubber bands and a fan, you can use magnets to like eliminate your need for life on the grid? Holy shit. Yeah, it's only $75 a month to get this.
Watergate because the president of the United States.
I let that one roll for just a minute because I wanted our audience to share my pain of what happened every time I launch a clip on Rumble, but also to show, the laziness with which these ads are made. And I know I've promised in the past that we are going to do an entire episode dedicated to the ads of Rumble.
Yes.
I just want to inflict just a tiny amount of my pain, reflect onto our audience.
So when we say we swim in the swamp so you don't have to. We are not fucking around. This is torture. This is what gets edited out on a normal broadcast. So now you get to see how the sausage is made, and it ain't pretty.
All right. So let's skip forward for 5 minutes.
That might require another ad.
Style or the work that a big time wrestler does is very hard on the body, and
past the point that
they're not always as
Close
healthy
enough.
as they should be with food and
And
other
again,
things.
I'm going
and
to get
so
this
The
going
problem
a
is they have
lot
to be
faster.
bulky.
Diet 71.
They have to be bulky. So
Because
they have
it's
to
such
it's
a
because it's a
boring
performance art
son of
sport.
a
They have to be
bitch.
tanned. They have to be sculpted. And you can do that in your 20s and 30s, but you have to lift. And some of them took steroids. I don't know if he did or not, but they have to.
Well, slow it down just a tad, because it sounds like he's going into some serious hero worship here. He's talking about tan, oiled up bodies in your 20s.
Okay,
Like,
I'll set it to 1.25 because that was actually an important point that I skipped
okay.
past.
Is very hard on the body, and
So
that they're not
we're at
always as
1.25
healthy as they
speed
should
here.
be with food and other things. And so
The problem is they have to be
very prone
bulky.
to Diet 71.
They have to be bulky. So they have to it's because it's a performance art sport. They have to be tan. They have to be sculpted. And you can do that in your 20s and 30s, but you have to lift, and some of them took steroids.
Did he just? I'm gonna bite my lip. I could suck the gunk out of that man's toes. Oh, fucking getting a little. Are we all hot in here? Is it? Do I need to? Ooh, all right. Sorry. Go ahead.
Two things I want to point out here is that through all his videos, Victor David Hansen is constantly touching his fucking face. He is constantly here. He is constantly here. He is constantly just always touching his goddamn face.
So no one taught him how to mask his autism. That's unfortunate. Because I know, dude, I'm on the spectrum. So this is me all day long, and just, oh, fuck, I didn't even. So I had to learn that. So, of course, I'm projecting that onto him. I don't know what his deal is, but yeah, that's a thing.
Hey, look, humans are gross, and humans do touch their faces a lot. It's how we manage to spread colds and flu through the population. We all touch our faces without thinking about it, without knowing it. But I'm not exaggerating when I say that roughly 80% of his videos are delivered in this pose. Now, of course, my face isn't quite as elastic as Victor Davis's thing, so I can't quite push as much cheek skin up to my eyeballs as he can.
He's got more years on you. He's got a lot of jowl to work with.
Yeah, that's true. He can sort of get it way down here up to.
Oh shit! I can.
Yeah,
completely sideways.
That's great radio. The two of us pulling faces into the camera.
Yeah.
So
now I feel like Howard Stern. Okay, sorry.
So we'll roll a bit more because again there are a couple of very specific points. Oh, one of them's on the screen there. Korak, I've got to ask you the question. Do you think Hulk Hogan took steroids?
Not only do I think he did, he does because he said so in several interviews about like behind the mat and all that stuff. He talks very candidly about it. And I was an adult when I saw those documentaries, and I was like, oh, of course. As I was a kid, I didn't even know what the fuck steroids were. But, as an adult, I'm like, oh, yeah, you juiced the shit out of these guys. And that was just kind of part of the wrestling culture then.
Well, I was 11 years old when Canadian sprinter Ben Johnson won the men's 100-meter gold medal at the Seoul Olympics in 1988. Wow. And very, very soon afterwards, I heard the word steroids in relation to his performance and his cheating and so on. At the time, my family was deeply involved in the local athletic club. So I was familiar with the word steroids from a relatively young age as something that people in sports use to cheat. And of course, we just mentioned how Hulk Hogan was this virtuous vitamin-taking kind of guy. So there's no way he could have been doing these evil cheating things. Why would the Hulkster need to cheat? He had the largest arms in the world. He body slammed Andre the Giant. Why would he need to cheat?
Right.
But then, of course, I grew the fuck up and learned some things and learned that. And listeners, I want you to look into my eyes here when I say this. Every professional athlete in the world is cheating. Every single professional athlete alive today is cheating. The rates of performance-enhancing drugs in professional sports, 100%. All of them. Anyway, so yeah, steroids in professional wrestling. I mean, there are abundant as steroids in bodybuilding. So for Victor Davis Hanson to take this kind of deliberately disingenuous pose of, did he take steroids? I don't know. It's ridiculous. It's very, very silly.
And the thing is, I remember I learned about the steroids thing before I learned about the racism thing. So I was already a young adult, and I was like, oh, he took steroids. Yeah, probably everybody took steroids. And so whatever, like he was just part of that culture. And I was sold an image of the all-American so-and-so. And then the racism. And I was like, oh, well, fuck that guy. Like I was like Randy the Macho Man Savage. Yeah. He probably also took steroids. I don't remember specifically, but let's assume he did. My opinion doesn't degrade that much of him because he doesn't have all that extra racist shit on top.
Well, again, as with steroids, so for cocaine, once you remove the moral judgment of actually using the stuff and consider why they were using the stuff instead of tying it to a moral failing. Yeah, so, of course, Randy the Macho Man Savage used steroids. Do you know what he didn't do? He didn't go on an expletive at a racial slur-laden tirade just so he could get his pathetic middle-aged end away while he was fucking his buddy's wife.
That is true. And if you look at it like on paper, it's like, what do you do for a living? Oh, I go into a ring in front of 20,000 people and I throw people over my head.
Yeah.
Oh, so you're not in the Olympics where it's like you have to be clean. It's like, no, let's see how big a man can get and how high they could jump with all the performance enhancing things, because that's what I'm going to be doing. I get punched in the head for a living. It's like, okay, well then give him all the drugs, make him as big as they're, whatever. That's what they're there for.
Yep. So I want to. We're running close to time here, so I want to.
Okay. Do we have enough time? Is this going to have to be another two-parter? Shit.
Again, it absolutely is, because I have a few different people lined up for their reactions to these two celebrity deaths, and we haven't even finished the first person.
Oh my god!
Again, there's a specific point.
So we've completely switched sides. This is me in the Teddy Daniels interview. Wow. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Great.
So there is a specific point in this video I want to get to. So I'm just going to roll it.
But they have to lift weights all the time, and once you get into your 50s or 40s, even 30s, that's hard on your joints. And last year the dog here knocked me down 4 flights.
It's like he's signaling to steal second.
That was nothing compared to one slide. So he really did something for the sport, and he legitimized it in a way that we really hadn't seen before. When I was growing up, there was always Pepper Gomez, Hulk Hogan had the largest televised sporting event in the 80s.
He was
even a pure novice like me knew his name, so and it wasn't exactly my sport.
Look, I'm interrupting myself here as I'm trying to keep things moving. She plays that really gross role, but with this air of somebody who's has this kind of academic justification or this academic backup.
You know that I smoke a lot of weed, but these two have the same identical forehead. I'm not even joking.
But honestly, like her role, and let's call her Teresa. Her role in this video would not be significantly different if her entire script read, "Don't ask me, I'm just a girl, tee hee 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 hee." Honestly,
such a good point.
It's kind of upsetting.
Well, she's the nameless, doesn't even have a badge, no name. She's the red shirt. Just send her in and
she doesn't even introduce herself.
That was
Yeah,
I
yeah.
forgot his
So
last
let's
name.
roll
Terry something.
forward a little
Yeah.
bit.
Anyway, all right. So on to Hillary.
Anyway.
God damn it! Fuck you, Rumble. Okay, I missed it.
Oh,
It must have been earlier in the clip. I missed it. Okay. The point is, the point that I was
this
trying
freeze
to find.
frame. This freeze frame, real quick, just looks like they're in the middle of divorce proceedings. Just
So
okay, go ahead.
the point I was trying to find in the video, which thanks Rumble for making searching in your videos virtually impossible, was where Victor says that he directly compares Hulk Hogan to Ozzy Osbourne and says that nobody much had anything bad to say about either man.
Oh, really?
Let me just bring up a couple of quotes here. One I'm going to send to you if you could have a look at your WhatsApp direct messaging here, because this was delivered by Andre the Giant, and if you could, in your best Andre the Giant, tell us what it was that Andre the Giant had to say about Hulk Hogan.
Okay, thank you for teeing me up so well. This is one of my favorite things to do.
I don't like to speak badly on people. I've grown up thinking and being told that if you cannot say something nice about someone, you should not say anything at all. But I must break that rule in this case because I hate Hulk Hogan very much. He is a big, ugly goon, and I want to squash his face.
Now,
he is here, I am here, but soon he will not be here.
Now, it's worth mentioning that Andre the Giant genuinely was loved by everybody, and Andre the Giant genuinely had nobody who could say a bad thing about him after he died.
I will offer a quick thing. This might have to be where we wrap it up, depending on how much time you have. But I have a quick Andre the Giant thing. He learned about racism from the Junkyard Dog.
Junkyard Dog, yep.
Yeah. Black guy, super cool wrestler. Came up around the same time that Andre and Hulk had their thing, and he was like the throw-to guy for matches like that.
Personal favorite of mine. I love the Junkyard Dog.
Okay, you're going to love him even more because on a bus ride from wherever they were going to wherever they were going to be to wrestle, Andre was sitting in the back drinking, and he used the N-word and used a hard R, and Junkyard told the bus driver to stop. He's like, I'm not going another fucking inch. We are stopping right now. And one thing led to another. They ended up at a gas station, and Junkyard got in his face. He's like, you don't understand. I don't care that you're Andre the Giant. I don't care. You could squash me like a bug. I will fight you. I will fight you right now until you understand exactly what that word means. And had it out with him. And Andre was like, oh, okay. He didn't understand. He was from France.
Yeah.
The slurs got tied in with wherever he was raised. And once he was corrected, never did it again. It was like, oh shit, I didn't realize I was causing that kind of pain to my friend.
Incredible. You mean that after he learned new information, he changed his mind?
It doesn't happen hardly ever, but this is one of the rare times a giant could be taught.
I do have to go. I've got about 2 minutes before I need to log off. But I want to leave you with two more quotes about Hulk Hogan. One from Jesse Ventura. I tried to unionize wrestling. It was Hulk Hogan who cut my legs out from under me. Hulk Hogan went to Vince McMahon, ratted me out, and subsequently, later on, cost me my job. Incidentally, later court filings revealed that at WrestleMania 3, after this event occurred, Hogan was paid, quote, more than the rest of us combined, end quote. So Hulk Hogan 100% sold out his fellow wrestlers in a move that resonates down through the sport today because there is still no professional wrestlers union. Right. But I want to finish with my favorite quote about Hulk Hogan from another personal favorite when I was growing up, the Iron Sheik. He has multiple quotes. He has
Yes.
multiple quotes about Hulk Hogan, but my absolute favorite above them all is fuck the Hulk Hogan then, fuck the Hulk Hogan now, fuck the Hulk Hogan forever.
Yes. Fuck the Hulk Hogan forever. Yes.
The use of the definite article in that quote is just
fuck
perfect.
The Hulk Hogan. Yes.
So with that, I have to take my leave. I need to log off. So thank you, listeners, for bearing with us. We may even need to do a part 2 of this because there is more I want to get into these. But as per usual, these two long-winded sons of bitches just can't keep their goddamn traps shut while we're playing videos. So thank you, everybody. Thank you, Korak. I need to take my leave. It's been a pleasure. And I very much look forward to speaking to everybody again in the near future.
Likewise, thank you, Doc. Take care. Godspeed. And with that, I guess it's up to me to wrap it up. Thank you for joining us. I'm your favorite bard, Quark the Bard. I've been joined by my steadfast co-host, Dr. Scorpion the Bird. He's not a bird, but he is a real doctor. And we will see you next time. I guess we're doing a part 2. So I can't wait to see more of what the Crypt Keeper, who's fallen on hard times, has to say about Hulk Hogan, Ozzy Osbourne, and any other luminaries who have died recently. It's been a ride, and now I understand what it feels like to have to listen to me drone on about right-wing shit when I'm talking to Teddy Daniels and other right-wing people that I've encountered. So, turnabout is fair play. Well done, Doc. We'll see you next time, folks.